Well, let's take you now live. IDEC is holding a press conference. They've been engaging the EC on this forum. Let's listen in.
Former director of the Electoral Services. He's now moved to be director of training at the EC head office, and he handles anything training within the Electoral Commission. And so I have the singular honor, privilege, and pleasure to invite Dr. Serbo. Thank you, Dr.
Good morning, Prof. and Mr. Okain. Good morning, my seniors here, and good morning to everybody. I was thinking IDEC was doing renaming. So I was going to ask, when you are naming somebody in our traditional setting, you put some water on my tongue, and some snap or whatever, and you change the name. So probably, and sheep. Okay, in our tradition, it's a fowl. So thanks for the opportunity. And I want to declare some assets here before I proceed. I have my big senior here. Mr. He used to be the Director of Elections of the Electoral Commission. So, so I think two other directors came after him before I came. So when I see him, I have to humble myself. Now I'm also Director for Training. I'm so glad to used to be the Director of Training. So he's also my big man here. Then I have my colleague. I did my school from Otopokuare. He also attended Otopokuare. He became the acting director for Bono region. So he's also here. So at least I can see three senior officers around me. So whatever I say, I know I have people who can correct me if I try to be mischievous. And they also share their experiences with us. Once again, I'm grateful, and I bring you greetings from the Electoral Commission. Unfortunately, I don't have any prepared speech, but I can try and address all the issues that you have brought on board. I will start with where Prof. Jonas started trying to explain the issues of the rejected ballots. Most often than not, we confuse rejected ballot with spoiled ballot. And I will say that if the easiest definition or distinction is that spoiled ballots are not found in the ballot box, but rejected ballots are found in the ballot box. That is the easiest definition. All of them are not counted for any voter, but spoiled ballots don't enter the ballot box, but rejected ballots enter the ballot box. So that settles everything. And we have 5 reasons why a ballot that has entered the box is rejected. One of it is that that ballot doesn't have the official mark of the commission. In other words, it was not validated. It is important in the sense that some people may try to use the back door to insert some ballot papers into the box. But when you do that, the first thing is that you can't have the validation stamp. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that some voters, for some reasons, will not do any thumbprint at all. They will take the ballot papers and give it to you as you give them out. No thumbprint at all. And I remember in 2000, yes, I was a district officer for Swedro. I was there when an elderly person went through all the processes. He was given the ballot papers. But before I realized, she was holding it this way, going home with the ballot paper. So you have to call her and take her back to the box for her to do the needful. No thumbprint at all. The next one is that the person more or less likes all the candidates. So when for the first time, we edited all the rejected ballots of the 2020. And for presidential, we had 12 candidates, and some of the people were voting for all the 12 candidates. So he doesn't want to be partial. So he wants to be fair, and everybody will be given part of the votes. I don't know. there are a lot of theories behind them, but the person will vote for more than one candidate as required. So that one, the ballot is also rejected. And the one given by Prof is that the person will thumbprint such a way that it cut across the boundary for two candidates. So whether it is 1090, 1585, whatever, some of the vote will stray to another candidate. So which of them are you going to allocate the ballot? That's the fourth reason. And the last but not the reason is that the person wants the people to know that I voted for this candidate. So he leaves a mark on the ballot paper that distinguishes him to the people that they will know that, oh, this is the vote of Prof. Jonah. For example, Prof voted and writes on it, Professor Jonah. Or somebody has a nickname that everybody knows, then you put the nickname there. When such things happens, these ballot papers are rejected. 5 reasons. The ballot should be rejected. But for the spoiled, when the ballot paper was being torn from the stock, it was torn through, so it has split the ballot. Or when the ballot paper was torn and given to the voter, it fell on the ground and the mud or soil contaminated it. Because once there's a mark on it, you cannot use it. The other one that we don't recommend, but it happens, that I went onto the screen, made my choice for a candidate, but I realized that I've made a mistake. I was going to vote for candidate B, but I voted for candidate A. You have the right to go back once you have not put it in the box. Give it to the presiding officer that I've made a mistake. The officer will just take the paper, run 2 lines across it, and write spoiled. You have to be given another ballot paper. The other part of it is that when the ballot paper was given to you, you have seen some stains on it. Stains on it. So when you thumbprint, somebody can interpret the stain as also thumbprint. Right? Because for example, the stain is on, let's say, candidate 5. I'm going to vote for candidate 3. So somebody will say that you voted for this and you voted for that. So once you've seen that stain, don't use it. Request for a new ballot paper. And I remember, I think in 2000 or so, the whole of Northern region, we have to recall the whole ballot papers because the printed stain was on a lot of the ballot papers. We have to record all of them at a very high expense. Technically, and if we were to understand ourselves, we should be able to differentiate a stain from thumbprint. But some people will not agree. So to avoid any trouble, all stain ballot papers should be reprinted at additional cost. So these are some of the reasons why the ballot can be declared spoiled. Now back to the issue on board. How do we rectify irregularities? I want to put on record that after every election, that's why I declared my 3 assets here. We do both internal review and external review. So after 2020, we held our internal review to look at what are the things that we did better than it used to be so that we can sustain or even improve upon them. And what are the weaknesses so that we will avoid them or try to rectify them. We did this one internally. The external one, some of you were there. We did that at probably you were there. And we came out with the communique. But unfortunately, my friend, Dr. Computer, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, you see, we didn't mention his opponent is saying he's a latecomer. That's one thing I like by the NDC and MPP. Now, in the public view, they will portray that they are enemies. When they finish, they are the best of friends. So I always say that don't look at them and fight. Because when they will finish, they will go somewhere and take lunch over some bottles. Then you have your injuries to go and Look at them. So, under no circumstance to anybody lose the strap of hair because of elections. Me standing here, at times, they will go on air and fire me. When they finish, they will call me. You know, this is politics, so don't take it serious. So that's how the politics, that is the joy of the politics. So one, as part of the recommendations from the review, the external one, and the communique that we signed, we had wanted to close elections by 3 o'clock. Because our understanding and thinking is that most of the confusions occur in the night. Most of them. And now that we have decided that no polling station have more than 750 voters. Some time ago, some used to have even 2,000 at a polling station. Now, 2020, the threshold was 749. This time 750. No polling station will be more than 750. And with this, it should not take extra hours to finish if everybody were to be there on time. So once we come out a time. So somebody's phone. So once we are able to reduce the threshold, what about this one? So once we are able to reduce the threshold, we should be able to finish on time. And from experience, counting does not go beyond 2 hours. Counting does not go beyond 2 hours. So if you're able to finish voting by 3 o'clock, by 5, we should have finished the polling station results. So what will be left with the transmission and the rest. But when we met our colleagues, Deputy Secretary and Dr. Computer, I mentioned their names, including that bad boy there. I was calling him the bad boy. Mark, they said, for this year, we shouldn't touch the law. So the commission also said, okay, if touching the law will raise the temperature in the country, why don't we drop them? But we believe that with time, maybe they will appreciate it and we'll go back that way. So we have wanted to do that, and they said we shouldn't. So we agreed. And one of the other suggestions too was that we should give some waiver to the female candidates. Because if you look at the parliament, the ladies are less than 10%. I don't know what is captured in the affirmative action law. I don't know whether it's going to change the trend, but I'll be surprised. Because we are in democracy, everybody has the right to contest. I don't know whether Computer and my friend here, the Deputy General Secretary, will see some of the consistencies to them. I don't know what is in the affirmative action. But we propose that let's do our part. So we are giving the female candidates and people with disability a waiver of 25% of any fee that will fix. We also decided that the 2020 deposit levels were going to be maintained. We know inflationary and but we said that we'll maintain the same figure. So for presidential, we are maintaining the 100,000 deposits. Therefore, the women will get a 25% waiver, which will send them to 75,000. And I remember at one of the meetings, you have not been there, but you were there. My party, you know my party? No. And the woman said, well, the people were complaining to us. I said, no. How can your president that was there? 1 million. 1 million. So we are saying that we are maintaining the 100,000, but the women will pay 25%, including people with disability, so that we are helping boost up the inclusivity of elections. So females and the people with disability will be expecting you to file. And that also goes to the parliamentary. Parliamentary 2016, it was 10,000. 2020, 10,000. 2024, 10,000. Who do you clap for us?
The value is the same.
The value is not the same. The figure is the same, but the value is not the same. Yes. Okay, nominal value the same, but real value not the same. So it also means that the female and people with disability will pay 7,500, whereas the male candidates who are not people with disability will pay 10,000. And our understanding too is that contesting election is not an individual issue. That issue also, if you don't have money, you should be able to mobilize it from your supporters. It is a proof that you are going to be in a position to be able to mobilize. So if you are saying you want to be a president of Ghana and you cannot mobilize people to pay 100,000, then how are you going to even do the campaigning? And I was saying that look at the streets, the posters and the LLC. Huge posters. Is it not the case? So I don't think. I don't want to go there. Because but they themselves they know. Yes. So, but the issue is that when they are paying to themselves, no matter the value, accepted. But paying to commission. But in their case, when even they pay, it is forfeited. But in our case, if for presidential level you are able to get 25% or 1/4 of the vote cast, everything is refunded to you. So it is just a deposit. Go and do well, get 25%. Even if you don't win, you get your money back. But if you are not able to get the 25%, the government of Ghana benefits. Please here, I want to say that it goes to the consolidated fund, not to the Electoral Commission. So some people will say that because we want to raise money for ourselves. No. The money goes to the consolidated fund, not to the Electoral Commission. Then for parliamentary, it's 12.5% or 1/8 of the vote cast. So presidential, 25%, you get your deposit back. Parliamentary, 12.5%, you get your money back. So that's how the deposit goes. And so the women will get their money back, the men will get their money back, the people with disability will get their money back if they're able to get the 25%. But what pains me is that most often they are not, MPP and DC will get the money back. Then the parties who are saying they are hypocrite. But they are the one who will lose. The Prof mentioned something and I want to correct it. So don't look at the structure. I'm hypocrite, not well endowed. I'm hypocrite. So, Prof was saying, looking at me, I look well endowed. But for the pocket, it's dry. So, okay. Now, the issue too is how do we communicate our processes of addressing the irregularities? So what are some of the irregularities? What are some of the irregularities? One, some of the people will declare the results, ask the agents to sign, but the presiding officers themselves will forget to sign. How do we address that? So they have declared the results. It has gone through the various processes of collation and the rest, but it is detected that that result was not signed. It was one of the reasons why the MPP went to court in 2013, after 2012 elections. So they went to 2013. How do we address that? One other reason is that the person will declare the results, but the figures will differentiate from the West. And in 2012, we had 27-0 for 270. If you remember, there was a polling station that they declared. The West, the person wrote 27-0 instead of 270. How do we address that? Again, at a polling station, a polling agent will request for a recount. How do we handle that? After the recount, somebody or the same person can request for another recount. What happens? I will talk about that. Then, some also say that there is an overvoting, another irregularity. How do you handle that? In the first place, what is an overvoting? The next time, when you get to the collation centers, now you have 3 layers of collation: constituency, regional, and national. Somebody can also call for recollation. How many times can the person call for? And how do you address it? I want to put on record that if you go into our election manual, every election year we have an election manual, and all these things are addressed on them. They are addressing them. But the unfortunate thing is that it goes to our officers, not to the public. That's the difference. But if you pick any election manual, all these processes are there, how to rectify them. But because if you are not an election official, you may not get the manual, so you wouldn't know. So how do you also handle that? Now let me go step by step. And starting with the last one that I said. So henceforth, all the steps that are going to be used to address the anomalies are going to be put on our website. We are going to publish them on our website. So that when you go to on our website, all the issues that I've listed, how they will be addressed, will be found over there. In addition to that, we are going to develop what we call aid memoir. Aid memoir is just like a postcard, some small sheet, hardcover, that will list the steps on it. We give it to our officers and our observers and the rest, so that they can also hold it, and you can use that one to challenge anybody who is trying to be mischievous or whatever. So we are going to develop aid memoir for all the issues that I've mentioned. How, if it is overvoting, how do you handle it? If there's recollation, how do you handle it? If there's recounting, how do you handle it? And whatever. So we are going to, in addition to putting them in the election officials manual, we are going to put them on our website and also develop aid memoir for our officers and our observers for them to also appreciate. I also want to say that as part of the recommendations by our observers, especially CODEO and the European Union, I remember you are with them, right? And he can testify that we've met them about. But those who did not do well, have you gone for your results? I'm here to go for it. Even though the results is in the pocket. That's how election is. And I've been saying that for the political parties, Electoral Commission is in bed with them when they are in power or when they win. But when they lose, there's a divorce. So I always ask them, why don't you tell Ghanaians that when you were in power, you were doing A, B, C, D with the Electoral Commission. So once you are off power, you know the opponent will do the same. Once they're able to do that, then we know where the problem is and we'll address it. But we see it as a normal issue that if you lose, you will complain. At times, when you are doing collation, the most difficult part is when the results are becoming clear. Then, initially, when the results are coming, oh, what is it? Then they will take. They will never take. Then when the results becoming clear, there was no dot on this I. There was no cross on this on this T. So we read that now they're beginning to find faults. But if you are in the Electoral Commission and you know you are doing what is right, you just explain it to them and you move ahead. Other than that, you can never declare results. Other than that. Because if you are to ask for, then let's look for all the I's and dot them. Let's look at all the T's and cross them, you will not finish. But the most important is that you have to rectify. So some of the issues that we do is that when the results declare that the polling station has an error, if the president has the right to correct it there, if he sees it, or his attention is called to that. But if he is not, or she is not, and it comes to the constituency and it is detected, I've declared my asset here, they should tell me if I'm lying. You call the presiding officer back to their constituency, come and rectify your errors, and sign against it. And when that is done, the constituency executives there are representing the police station agents, right? So once they also agree, they also sign before the results are taken. Mr. Okreko, is it not true? And this time I heard my bad boy saying it is true. Mark, it's true, eh? That is it. So if the problem is at the polling station, it is only the presiding officer who can correct it, because you and I were not there. So you call him or her to come and correct it, then he signs against it. Then the agents, because at that time the polling station agent may not be there, but the constituency executives are there, they will sign before it could be added to the results. But it should also be understood that if our officer has signed and the party agents did not sign, assuming nobody signs, we'll go ahead and add the results. Because it's assumed that they were not there. It is only when they have indicated on the reason why they are not signing that the commission will investigate. If it has merit, then it is addressed. But if you are angry and you say you will not sign, we'll go ahead. And I remember my senior here, if you remind, I can pause for him to tell us a story. Something happened in the Brunaf region. Please come and tell them, then I will continue. Now, I want it to be more practical so that I know how things happen.
Yeah.
Yes, the Brunaf region.
Look, thank you for...
And don't forget, I said he used to be the director for training.
Thank you for the opportunity. What happened did happen in 2008. In 2008, during the voting, in fact, after the voting had ended, this happened in the Brunhafo region. At the time, it was just Brunhafo. 2008, we didn't have the Bruno separated from the Ahafo and so on. And so, during the counting, party reps were going around. And then some NDC party reps visited a polling station. And in their minds, they thought that the NDC was being mischievous at that polling station. So quickly, they rushed to the Collation Center and said, hey, return officer, we will not admit results from this polling station because the NPP cheated. But there are rules for accepting or rejecting election results. So in effect, once those rules are complied with, nobody can say Electoral Commission take it or don't take it. If there's an infringement, based on that infringement, then the commission can decide, oh, you have gone against this rule, so I'm doing A or B. Now, when the results came, they opened the box, they brought the results out, and lo and behold, NDC had won. Meanwhile, they had gone to complain that it should not be added. So there and then, NPP also said, oh, you had already rejected results from that police station, you remember? So we are not going to add it. And it became a tug of war. So we had to take people...
And I don't know that result can make a difference.
A difference. You know, finally, when they put all the results together, adding it had a different winner, and subtracting it also had another. So it became key, you know, and something that could have been avoided easily. Because the one party wanted to be mischievous, created a problem for everybody. You know, because of that one, we had to carry the results for that constituency from Kenyasi. First, the constituency headquarters is it was a Stephen North. No, South. The South, the northern headquarters is Kenyasi, and the South one is Hwidiam. Hwidiam, the police, you know, the security was better in Kenyasi, so they brought the ballot boxes to Kenyasi. And yet, when we went there to do the collation, military men had been sent from Sunyani to the place, the police and everything. And when we look at the problem, we could not declare A or B to be a winner because people were armed to the teeth with batons, with guns, and what have you, yes. So if you declared Party A as winner, you will not get out of the room. So we called the chairperson, that was Dr. Farijan. We discussed that, Doc, this is the situation here. Then he asked, so what do you suggest? So we suggest that because of the security here, it's not too strong. We take the ballot boxes to Sunyani, our regional office. We had a big compound barricaded. So we go and do it there. So that was how we came out with the solution.
Thank you. But the most important thing is that for each of the irregularities, there are guidelines on them. And because the public may not know, that's why we are going ahead to publish them on our website and also give them the aid memoir so that clearly everybody will know that these are the steps that are happening. So as I said, if it's at the polling station and the candidates did not sign, it will not invalidate the results, and we will not wait for them. We will go ahead and declare. But if the person is there, and the person, if you look at the statement of the poll, it said, sign if you agree, and if you are refusing to agree, indicate the reason why you are refusing to sign. So if the person indicates on the paper the reason why he or she is refusing to sign, then to get to the returning officer, he will look at it and look at the merits of the case. If it needs to be attended to, it will. If they are just flimsy, we'll go ahead and declare the results. So that's how discrepancy about signing or not signing is addressed. If it is for our presiding officer not signing, we will not add the results, but we will ask him to come and sign. We will not say that we are throwing away the results, because it will not be fair for you to go and join the queue. Then at the end of the day, I wanted to use negative words, but I would, that one mistake, somebody who mistakenly did not sign, will now invalidate your results. It will not be fair. So we'll ask him, come and sign the result in the presence of the constituency executive officers. So there was, because when he comes, the people will ask questions. Were you the one who filled the form? Why did you sign? Then based on explanation. And we believe that by then, the parties may have their copies already. Because the results will not come to constituency without the police station and party executive not having it. So once there's that collaboration, it will be done and the officer will be allowed to sign. If I give you a check to go to the bank and I forget to sign, the money will not be given to you, but it will not be taken from my account. Is that not the case? The word is that go and let the person sign. So not signing will not invalidate the results, not at all. Unless there's evidence that it is a foreign result declaration. It was not generated at the polling station. I remember in 1996, if Mr. Ahi and Elembele, in the course of the collation, somebody went there, stormed there, destroyed a lot of the papers. So what the commission did then was to invite the party agents to bring their results. And that was what sent Honorable Blade to the parliament for the first time with 11 votes difference. 11 votes difference. So giving the result to the candidate agents do go well for us, because in case we lose ours, we can fall on them. It happens in Zabuta at that time. It was one constituency. Thank you that you know. They nearly killed our officer. Our officer is now in the Shanti region. Not knowing that our officer's friend was flirting with one of the political parties, taking monies and the rest. Oh, the man said he would do it for you. So when the results came, more than 200 polling stations, and that party who was expecting good results was losing, they stormed the place. The way you are laughing, you are very conversant with the story. Okay, so you know the story very well. Thank you. They stormed the place, and none of the security person stayed. They all vanished. So it was left with Electoral Commission and USA vendors. Maybe some people from Commonwealth are here. So, but these one vendors of different meaning. So they ran away. And the officer Ben Akanwe was holding the people, the results like this and standing somewhere. Then somebody from behind. The man fell down. He was hospitalized for 3 months. You know him because you were in the region with him. 3 months. And when the man fell down, he was fortunate to be a northerner because he understands the language. So they read that if I attempt to prove that I am not dead, they will finish me. So he fainted dead. Fainted that he was dead. And they throw the ballot box like this. Do you know how we do the cascading? Somebody used the club. And then, yay! They restored more than 200 ballot boxes. But still, we depended on the party agents and we declared the results. I am saying all these things for you to tell people that no matter what we do, results will be declared. No matter what you do. Even if you kill all of us, other people come and do it. And if you look at what happened in 2008, yes, at the time, we did the first round, no problem. The second round, 3 days to the election, somebody went and burnt the whole office at time, including all the ballot papers, everything in the room. That is why we couldn't conduct that election on the 28th of December. But still, we printed, went there, and conducted the election. Right? So no matter what we do, results will be declared. So let us tell the people there are procedures to address the issues. So if you have any issue, go through the procedure and have it rectified. Using variance bin will not stop the result declaration. I hope you all agree. Good. Now let's come to recount of ballots. The presiding officer has counted the ballot papers. But you think that the man was counting them? I didn't know that. There was a video circulating that somebody was doing the counting and he jumped. And please let us be very careful of AI. Everything that is good has its negative side. Don't be surprised that on the day of election you will see Kweku in this time of speaking the languages that I have never dreamt of. So I always say that the major threat to elections is misinformation and disinformation, fake news. Fake news. Because they can capture me very well, the same voice, everything, but speaking in tongues. So let us be very careful the way things are done. So at the polling station, the agent, any of the agents, please, but not the observer. Underline that. An observer cannot request for recount. That's not your business. But any of the agents can request for recount. And the president of that is mandated, underlined, mandated to grant the recount. He's mandated. But if after the recount, the results tally with the first one, and somebody else comes and says that, do the recount again, or do the recount, the presiding officer has any right to say, I will not do it. But if the officer or the agent insists, the guidelines that it should be taken to the constituency office for the return officer to do the recount. I think that's very clear. So the first recount request is mandatory. Somebody may tolerate the second one if there are some discrepancies. But if to the mind of the presiding officer, it is not necessary, because there's no grounds for it, he can refuse. But if you insist, it should be moved to the constituency office for the return officer, who is a senior to the presiding officer, to do the recount in the presence of all the party agents and observers. And when that one is done, it is final, before that result can be added to that. But the return officer has also the right to say that from what came from the ground, you are already being mischievous. Let's go ahead and use the votes. So it doesn't necessarily mean that when you go there, the return officer is bound to grant it. Because if everybody sees that you are just being mischievous, he will not add the results. And I think we had one of such things at one of the Pro area in 2024. We had one of the challenges. So the recount can be done at least once at the polling station. The others are discretionary. But when it is activated to the constituency, the return officer has the power to also do the recount. Therefore, when the recount request does not generate from the polling station, you cannot go to the constituency and be asking for recount. The law does not support that. Is it clear? You send your agent to the polling station. They went there, they did not challenge the results, they did not request for a recount. You cannot go to the constituency as a party executive member and be asking for a recount. And the parties are fond of doing that. It has no basis in law. Because you and I were not there. So those who were there did not challenge it. How come you at the constituency office coming to challenge? So the recount can only be done at the constituency office when it has been generated by the agent at the polling station. Because the decision of the agent at your center is binding on you. You sent them there. True of us. So you cannot request for recount at the collation center when it has not been generated from the polling station. All these things will be on our website and on our aid memoir. Now, I remember, is it 2000 or so? In Ajos Afu's place. Kwabenya, at that time, I was not at the head office. And in the news, especially the media persons, they are doing recount. They are doing recount. The media themselves should know the terminologies. There's a difference between recollation and the recount. Because when you do that, you end up confusing the people. Because if you are sitting there, you know, why are they doing the recount? But you call them and say, no, rather, they are requesting for recollation. So recollation just means that you are adding up the results from the lower field. Recollation at the constituency means that you are adding the results from the polling station. I think the biggest constituency is Domin with 250 polling stations. But if you have constituencies with 52 polling stations. So collation means that you have to add all the results. But please understand this. For parliamentary election, results can be declared minus even 50 results. And I want you to understand that. In constituency results, election results can be declared minus 50 of the results. If the 50 voters, total number of voters, when added to the second person, you will not catch up with the first person. You can go ahead and declare the results. In 2004, the results was declared minus 5 constituencies for the presidential. Minus 5. Because the results were not coming. If you give all the total voters in the 5 constituencies to the second person, still the first person will win. What do you wait? So results could be declared minus a certain number of polling stations or constituencies when the total voters in those areas cannot overturn the results. It can be done. So don't go and say that. They have declared the results. We are waiting for some polling station and they are declaring the results. If they will not have any effect, you can go ahead and declare. But if they will have effect like happened at a time, you have to go and conduct it. In the same vein, if you destroy a polling station ballots and the results so that it was not counted, if at the end of the day it is realized that the total number of the voters there cannot make the difference, we will not go and reconduct that election because it will not make any change. So that one could be done. This will also be captured on the website and the aid memoir, but they are already in our manual. Now, at the collation center, an agent has the right to request for recollation. Those of you who observe the recent 3 by-elections, Dr. Computer, you remember what they did in Kumawu? Yes. Can you tell us? Come again? No, but we made a mistake somewhere and you brought it. Correct. See, that is the transparency of it.
Yes.
We were doing the collation. We read that our officer, not the main result for the voters, but the rejected ballot, our officer keyed in the wrong figure. So it was the NDC people who said that they were losing their no. But they were the one who told us that, look at the rejected ballot. That's a mistake. We will ratify them, and we ratify and tell you with them we went ahead. And that's what we are going to do for 2024. We are going, the law recognizes the manual collation, but we have introduced another layer with respect to the electronic one, not electronic in the sense that it has to be projected or sent outside, but at least they will do it while we do the manual. When we finish, we will compare and reconcile. And we will be expecting the parties to do that. And you know, one interesting story. I'm saying so because MPP and NDC there have the strength to say it. If it was only one party, I would not say it. After Kumawu, MPP was teasing the NDC that they didn't do collation. And as enough, it turned, and it's the same thing. You remember? So when they are doing the collation, it's not going well for them, their computer will crash. So whereas NPP was teasing NDC at Kumawu, NDC was also teasing MPP at Asinoff. Because if it's going well with you, your machine will never crash. I didn't hear you. Okay. Okay. But then this were teasing you. No, they were asking you, bring your result. I remember they were asking you, bring your result for Asinoff. That's what they were saying. But because you have lost the power, the energy to contest. They don't even come there. That's exactly so. Because I was there. And I said no before I realized Dr. Computer, we are finished. Then immediately I realized that I could yam. Come again. No, you are contesting election, not necessary to win, but to add to the transparency and credibility of the elections. No, I agree, but you are still needed. You see, let me tell you a story. I did my 6th form at Opokuwari with one called John Ajabin. He's late now. He contested on MPP ticket in Aguna East in 2000. You know what happened? At a point in time, his people were jubilating that he has won. But he was left with 3 centers and he has gotten it. So he told them that they were pouring powder and they said, don't pour powder. I have lost. They said, no, they will not. Well, we have won by force. They will give it to him. So he told them that and he did a good job for us. So he went at the Collation Center, told his people that when he added that 3 votes, he has lost, so nobody should disturb the Electoral Commission. But other than that, it would have been disaster. But the people were jubilating. They have won. Then you are going to tell them that you have lost. Let's talk about why wasn't the William. You understand? So when you lose, for fairness and transparency, what stops you from saying that, yes, you have done the collation, this is your results, and it tells you that the Electoral Commission is. It tells you that you are a good competitor. Next time you come again. But you don't say, because I've lost, I am gone. We are gone, but your supporters will be there. And your supporters can create a lot of problems for us. So if generally you have won, let your people know that you have done the collation. The result is fair. You have lost. Go and prepare yourself and come again. So I don't agree with you that once you have lost, you should leave the place. No. So it is normal that in our elections, hardly will you see MPP and NDC at the end of the collation. Hardly. I'm mentioning their name because they normally get the biggest vote. Oh, I understand. No, I am not disputing that. But I just want to say that you should also go into a lesson with at the back of your mind that you may win, you may lose. You should go to an election. Don't think that I'm going to an election that I've already won. You are not the one who determines who wins. It is the voters. So respect the voters. Stand there, finish, sign your copy, and go. That's all. Because if you don't go, you are giving room for a lot of stories. If this is to concede defeat in an election, it's one of the best things that you can do to save the country. Because if the top people are saying they have lost, who are you, what word should I use? The grassroots person to go and be fighting. When your top people are saying they have lost. So if mistakes have happened, let's address the mistakes. But if you genuinely know you have lost, concede and tell your people, let's go and prepare and come the next time. Who knows? I hope you agree now. So who has not been signing? So, so what I'm saying is that at the constituency center, you can request for recount, and the recount will be granted for you. And when that is done, and it tallies with the first one, you don't need to ask for another recollation, right? And as I said this time, we are going to project it. So if you don't do your own collation, help us whilst we are doing the collation. The media too will be there, and when we finish, it will be done. Dr. Computer, he's saying that if you don't do it, you copy ours and put it on your model. So the same procedure applies to the regional collation. We are aware that NDC didn't like the regional collation, but we think that it is adding to the transparency of the system. Let me tell you this. At least I've been a deputy regional director for some elections. I've been a regional director for some elections. And anybody here, my colleagues know that, even though you are not at the collation center, it is the regional director who will send the results to the national, not the constituency. And every regional director will have to sign the results. So you are taking the results, you sign before you send. So we are now saying that instead of just signing and signing, you do the addition yourself. So you can get the result for the region. That's the difference. That's the difference. And then, you know, the joy in that the party agents are there. And I remember in 2020, Mr. Rojo Nunu, he's not here, so but I'm saying, when we granted the accreditation to the political parties, NDC did not submit Mr. Rojo Nunu's name. So when I was going to the collation center, I saw Professor White with his computer, Rojo Nunu with the computer. Then the security have stopped Mr. Rojo Nunu because he doesn't have the accreditation. So when I went, but you requested for 4 years, you were granted. Why are you not bringing somebody who was not? They said that is their decision. I said, so I told them, you just allow them to go for peace to prevail. So I myself, you can ask Pesha, you can ask Rojo, took him in there. And the man said that after you go to heaven. He went there, the results were being faxed to the national. And there were 16 fax machines, one dedicated to each region. So when they fax, once it is broken, it is well labeled. So once this one, the results are coming from here. We were doing that as friends, taking our tea with biscuit. Underline tea with biscuit. Then when the voter regime came, I wish you have the results. I said, at least you've seen that your party regional executive have signed. So why don't you ask them whether this result is a true reflection of what happened over there? I didn't hear anything. Then we added. Then Ashanti region came, difference of about 1 million. They said that they know the difference of over 600,000. I said it was Sambra Bujejamfi, called Bujejamfi. If you contest it, then we can be listening to you. Because you are not there, I'm also not there. But it has been Sambra Bujejamfi. I know Madam Betty Modidrusu was there and the rest. So I said, ask them. So they went, and that is time they said they were going to see the chairperson. They have questions with the results. I was going ahead with my work. But what I was doing that, once the first comes, I will go photocopy and give it to all of them there, so that you can talk to your people, and before we add and we'll move. So he went there, but before he went, he had already taken the tea with biscuit. So he went there. The secretary decided to offer him tea and biscuit, so that I would take the tea, but I will not take the biscuit. And the irony of it, we are all friends, though. So when the NDC was doing the presidential elections, Roger was supporting Dr. Dufour, right? So he was coming to greet me. But he said, you didn't know why I was bringing the results. Now am I a good person for you to come? He said that you only understand when you become a politician. That's what he told me. That's why I said that at times when they are speaking and lambasting, you also need to be careful. You don't take the law into your hand. Because the very person who is saying may not even believe in what he himself is saying. You understand? So that's how we went on. So you can request for recollation at the constituency. You can request for recollation at the regional. And you can also request for recollation at the national level. There are no results that have to be collated without the involvement of the political parties. But as he said, if you are losing, it's difficult. But going to an election with the understanding that it is a win or lose affair. There's no draw in an election. Have you heard? So that two people will share the presidency or parliamentary. It's not possible. So whatever it is, one will win. But if you are being cheated, request for the necessary anomaly. That's why there are guidelines on it. And we are going to put all these guidelines on our website and also develop the aid memoir so that each level will have how to handle it, how to handle it, how to handle it. Now, the next issue is about overvoting. What is overvoting? Sitting here, I can't give you a definition. Standing here. The reason is, as of a classical one is that when the vote cast is more than the total registered voters. That's what anybody can do. But where there's a difference of 1 or 2, it becomes very difficult to assess because it is human beings who are doing the work. And if care is not taken, they say that once the difference is 1, cancel the whole results. If I'm a candidate, know what I will do. I will give money to people for the stronghold of the opponent. Try and add 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So I can be canceling them. Isn't a possibility? So the commission is developing a guidelines about that, so that we'll see that when this happens, how you go about it. Because if it is a classical one, no issue. But if the difference 1 or 2, but less than the number of voters in the constituency, then you need to do a lot of investigation. You need to do a lot of investigation. Other than that, that becomes avenue for people to become rich. Because if you are presiding officer, you can get 1,000 and just add 1 vote to the votes. I know this player will lose. But if you add that, result will be cancelled. Are you getting me? So we are developing serious guidelines, which also will be on an aid memoir on our website, so that we can address that.
There is what we call reconciliation.
Please come here.
Reconciliation. After the voting is ended, and the good ballots, excluding the spoils, are in the ballot box. When you open the box and then you pour all the ballot boxes on the table, you have to, you have records of people who have voted per the register and per the machine and so on. You count the ballot boxes, the ballot papers, face down, so that you don't see whether this ballot is for party A or party B. You count them to see whether the total you get in the ballot box agrees with what you have per the register. You see, this is to help avoid a situation where when you see that somebody is winning by 1 vote, or this and then you make it overvoting. You get the total ballots inside the box. Before later you start to distribute them according to the candidates for whom the vote has been cast. So if the overall ballots in the box is say 300 and had 4 candidates, after sharing, this one will have this one will have that, this other, some may be rejected. Okay. If you put all the rejected and the valid votes together, they should agree with the overall ballots that you counted previously before the sorting. You see it? If you do it that way, it will be difficult for people to, say we are passing one to it to change the results.
Thank you. Now, I want to also say that
we will come to the question.
I want to say that when we finish nomination, this time we are doing from the 9th to the 13th of September. 9th September to 13th September, we will do the nomination. When we finish with that, we will ballot for the positions on the ballot papers. The parties are aware. So we'll do 2 forms of balloting. The first one is to determine who should pick first. So we'll do that one, assuming Mark takes number 4. Meaning when we are going to pick for the balloting, he'll be the first person to pick. If I pick number 1, when it comes to the picking the position, I'll be the one to pick, and goes like that. So you may pick 1 for the first round, but you may pick 10 for the second round. It's the last one that determines the position on the ballot. Once that is done, it reflects the positions at the constituency. So the same arrangement will follow. But where maybe for presidential 2020 there were 12, but here there are only 4. Then it goes like, for example, the first candidate for presidential is also, the party is contesting for parliamentary, they will be number 1. The second candidate is not contesting parliamentary, so the third person will have to move. So that adjustment will follow. So that it will not be like, because you took 9 here, there should be 9 there when there are 3 candidates. How are you getting it? So that is how we determine it. But this year, what we are also going to do again is that we are expecting that possibly some of the parties may not contest the presidential. Right? So assuming 2 parties at the constituency were not on the presidential ballot, they will ballot for them today. So there was, but the presidential one will follow. Then the next 2 candidates who are on political party platform will also pick. So there will be balloting for presidential and balloting for parliamentary if there are parties who are contesting the parliamentary but do not contest the presidential. So that will be done. Now, once those things are done, every party will know his or her position on the ballot. Then we will write to the that's what we have been doing anyway. It's no new thing. We will write to the political parties. We are doing our printing at these places. This region will be here. That region will be there. That. Then they will bring their agents. They will be with us. What the Ghana Police Service also provide security people. They will be with us throughout the printing. If it will take 1 month, we will be there. They will go on shift and the rest. Now, every ballot paper is also given a serial number. So they will know everything. When we finish, we'll bag them according to their regions and down to their districts. So what we do is that if you take one constituency, how many polling stations? Then in that polling station, how many voters? So you print the total number plus 5%. So we'll do that, then cumulatively you get that of the constituency. You put the constituency together, cumulatively you get that of the region. Then the region one will be bagged, but each constituency will have its separate bag. Then we will put our series on them. Give the serial number ranges to the political parties. That's what we'll be doing. Then the parties who want to, and I also know that MPP and this will bring, they will also put their series on. We'll put them in our van. Padlock the van. The parties also padlock the van. The police and the Electoral Commission will escort the van, and this MPP at least will also escort the van. We will move to the regional police command, and the regional executives will meet us at the regional police command. Then their documentation, serial number of the ballot papers for each of them, they will transfer. So the regional executives will get their transfer from the national executives, who will also give us ours to our regional office. Then the police will also do same. Then the Accra people will return. Then they want to open, and the parties will transfer their keys to them. So whereas our regional data will open the van, they also open. Then the materials are brought out and put at the where they keep their armory. Then we are gone. The district will also come and pay from the region at an agreed date. The same procedure. Then it will follow and get to the constituency. So all the parties will know that for this constituency, these are the serial number ranges of our ballot papers. They know. And they will also fix a date. They will go there and do the distribution to the polling stations. And when that is done, they also take the records. On the day of election, the ballot box is transparent, but we still open it, right? For people to see whether there are some smuggled papers in them. Then when the voting is ended, as my senior is saying, you do the ticking on the register. So we have 2 registers. One for the name reference list, one for the main register, the counterfoil, and the BVD machine. All these 4 should tell you the same story. Are you getting me? There's a name reference list, which arranges the name alphabetically. So once they see it, they will tick. Then they'll tell them, go to the register, page this, you can see the name there. So the register too will also be ticked. Then the BVD machine will also be doing the verification. So it will also come out with a figure. So these 3 shouldn't be. Then when you are detaching the ballot papers, you detach them from the stock. So the counterfeit will also tell you the ballot papers that have been given, minus the spoiled ones, because the spoiled one did not go into. So when you do all these things, it is expected that you should have knowledge of how many ballot papers are there. That's why you can do the reconciliation to mark. Then the counting is done openly. If I were to be doing it here, you will help me to do the counting. Maybe I start 1, 2, today you take over. That's how it is done, right? Then they are all recorded. If you want to call for recount, it is done. When they are recorded on the paper, then parties take copy. And now, mandatory, we are going to paste a copy of the result at the polling station. But I'm advising you, don't wait for that. For the next 2 hours, you will not see it. Somebody will pick it and also paste it in his room. That's what happens. Even the posters that we paste, the posters, somebody will use it to decorate his room. So by law we are putting it there, but I don't expect that you will see it in the next 3 days. I don't expect it. It will be gone. But the parties should have their copies so that they can now follow the collation. It goes to the constitution. And the reason why I like ours is that there's always a paper trail. I standing here, I would never recommend you voting for now because we don't trust ourselves. In 2016, when we were even faxing the result from the region to national, there was allegation that somebody was intercepting the fax machines at the airport. So you take it from the fax, you do correction, and put it back into the fax, then come to the region. Some of the stories, and you see highly educated people propagating such stories. So that's how it goes. Then the collation at all levels are done. Results are declared. For parliamentary, it is done at the constituency level. Once that is declared, nobody at the region or national can alter it. Then the national one is the chairperson who declares. And the law says that whoever is to be declared should have more than 50%. So once somebody gets the 50%, we are off, we'll gazette it. If nobody gets 50%, 21 days we'll go for runoff. We've done runoff in 2000 and 2008. I don't know what will happen in 2024. I said, I don't know. I didn't ask you, I seek your view. I said, I don't know. God will determine what happens. Okay. Okay. So I think I'm done. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Serbo Kweku. I think his presentation has been very insightful and detailed enough. He's covered a lot of the questions that you and I might want to ask him. But then again, on the program, we do have a question and answer segment. And so I think I would very much want to go straight into that. But before I do that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of some dignitaries here. We do have Mr. Joseph Allen from the EU. Is he here or he stepped out? He just stepped out. We also have Mr. Jonas Kleis of the EU. Yes, in our midst. Earlier, Dr. Kweku introduced Mr. Albert Ahin, who is now with Codeo. He used to be with the EC. And then we also have Mr. Augustine Okran, who was a former director of elections at the EC. A round of applause for them. I've also seen Dr. Andrews Doche, who is the executive director of the School for Continuing and Distance Education of the University of Ghana Annual New Year School. Doc, you're very welcome. Thank you for making time to be here. I can see Madame Bridget Jogbenuku, who was the flag bearer for the PPP at the last elections, and she's in our midst today. Thank you for making time to be here. In the course of the program, I'm sure I'll have a few more names to acknowledge, but let me also acknowledge the presence of our media persons. We have quite a remarkable participation here. I can see lots of cameras, about 9 or 10 cameras around. Do I Can I just ask randomly if we have Daily Graphic in our midst? Yes, we have Daily Graphic. What about Ghanaian Times? Ghanaian Times is here. GNA, Christopher is here. GBC? Yes, GBC is here. Media General? Wow. City? City is here. Star or GH1? Oh, wow, they're here too. Ghana Web? Wow. We're so grateful for coming over. Any other media houses I haven't acknowledged? Multimedia. Multimedia. Okay. And Metro. Metro Television is here as well. We're extremely grateful for coming to cover this program. And I'm sure the presentation has been so detailed that you'd go back reporting accurately. But for now, I would like us to, because there are still aspects of our presentation that I believe you might ask questions on. And Dr. Sribo Kweku, with regard to the timelines for the publication on your website, because if there are disputes with the results, my understanding is that there are about 21 days or so where that has to be determined. What are the timelines? Because the timelines for publishing these on your website can also facilitate or determine how quickly the disputes are resolved. If you can answer to that, please.
Thank you very much. What we are planning to do is that all the collated results, constituency, regional, and national, should be on our website before the final declaration of the results. But for the polling station, we are planning to do that before the deadline for petitioning a presidential results. Because once we are not doing electronic tallying and declaration, you need to be scanning the polling station results. And we are talking about 41,000. So we need to also be very careful. We don't say that you can do that before you declare the results. Because in Ghana, if you take 2020, we declare it within 48 hours. So how can you collect them? But our intention is that for constituency results, regional results, and national results, they should be on our website before the final declaration of the presidential results. But the polling station one, we are planning to put them there before the deadline for petitioning presidential election results are over. So that's what we are planning to do. Thank you. But the other issue is that some of them too, you cannot determine, assuming there's a litigation on it, you cannot put it there when it is being litigated. So at times, circumstances may also affect the plan. Thank you.
I was going to ask Prof to answer the next set of questions before. Maybe you might want to stand with me for a bit because...
No, I'll be a bodyguard.
Great. Thank you. Yes, but Prof, before you do so, can we just ask Mr. Yes, okay. Yes, to...
Yeah, let me just stand here and see if
Right.
I know we're going to meet him, but there's something that I want the group here to be thinking about, maybe before we meet the EC. Something happened to me when I was the Director of Elections for the EC. No, not Director for Elections, but when I was the Regional Director for the Eastern Region. There was this result that came from Fantiakwa. And strangely enough, the NPP cheated the NDC by 10,000 votes. Yeah, it's like it was forged, added to the constituency result in Fantiakwa. So at that time, we were using the scoreboards. The result came from Fantiakwa. We had put it on the regional scoreboard at the Justin's Park in Koforidua. The NPP had won. But I think the NDC did so well, sat down, did their calculation, and in the final analysis saw that they had been cheated by 10,000 votes, you can imagine. So they came to us and complained. They had written a letter. So we had to recall all the ballot boxes from Fantiakwa. And that night we never slept. We did a recount of the ballots. And indeed, they had been cheated by about 10,000 ballots. And the cheek of it was that, excuse me, the return officer was even going around jubilating for the winner. A return officer who is supposed to be neutral was going around jubilating. So we thought that anomaly was to be corrected. Meanwhile, at the National Scoreboard in Accra, the NPP had won. It had been boldly displayed. I'm saying this because of the result tabulation that we are talking about right here. So I'm trying to tell Kweku and the EC that if we have a thing of that nature happening, at that time, all I did was to go to the regional minister to tell him that the EC had made a mistake. Rang Aferijan, Dr. Aferijan, also to tell him that a mistake had been committed. How about the masses, the people who are receiving the results? How do you change it? And remember, that was the year they wrote the stolen verdict. 96, yeah. The stolen verdict was written in 96. No, 96, yeah. This thing happened in 96. So what I'm trying to say is that it's about time we had something put down, like a corrective measure. What do you do when you have a thing like this happening? At that time, we used buga. I just told Dr. Aferijan that we have to correct it at the regional level and correct it at the national level. We did the correction, but was it the right thing to do? Just to say that because the mistake had been made, you just go and rub it and then write the correct one there. This is what we're supposed to be doing right now. How do we correct these mistakes when they occur? How do we correct the mistakes when they occur? At that time we did it, but was it the right thing to do? I'm trying to appeal to the EC that we should try to devise a form, get something put down by way of a sheet, a corrective sheet, so that when we have mistakes of this nature, we will do the correction, let the other parties sign that this is what happened, and this is the corrective measure. This was the solution that was found for it. You see, that was done at that time, but is it right? Can you just go to the scoreboard and clean it and write the right thing there? We need to make sure that we put it on record. So we should be thinking about it. Then again, was it the last election when the electoral commissioner was declaring the results and she made a mistake? Yeah. There was a slip of tongue. A mistake was genuinely made. But you and I saw what happened. People were saying that the results were read 3 times. You know, they were not happy about it. They were not happy. Till date, people have been talking about it. And I'm saying that, or Cordeo is trying to say that, what do we do when, for example, I'm announcing results and I made a mistake, and then I correct? Can't we put it down, write it so that we sign for records purposes, or we just leave it like that? So now that we are on the verge of trying to devise a formula, and I'm happy you said that you are going to put it on the website with aid memoirs and other things to assist, so that later on people can refer and know that this mistake was made. This was the corrective measure that was taken. Maybe we can even get a sheet with a different color. for correcting these mistakes at the polling station level, at the collation center level, at the national level. When a mistake is made and you correct it, we use a certain sheet, we sign, and then it's put on record. So this is my small contribution that I want to make here. We will be meeting you, but think about it. Like the auditors have been doing, using the green pen to cancel. If, for example, a mistake has been made at the police station level and the agent is not there, we use a certain sheet to do the correction. We send it to them to sign, and we keep it as a record. So this is a small contribution that I've wanted
For you.
Yes, I will give you the floor in due time. I just want him to respond to that. Please respect my.
You said the MP cheated. I want that one.
So you will have the